Shalom magical spirits and meramigos, my name is Yl'luria. If you haven't been here before, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Today I would like to talk to you about something very important if you or someone you know and love would like to make their dream of becoming a mermaid a little bit more of a reality. If you're interested in how to mermaid safely, sit down, get a drink, get a snack, and join me because we're going to have a lot of fun and learn a lot. See you in a sec. So today, before I start anything off, I want to let you guys know that I am not affiliated with any company. This is not a sponsored video. Nothing I say to you today is anything I'm being paid or endorsed to do. Also, it's to be noted, I am not an expert. I am not a dive instructor or a swimming trainer, so please know that and take everything I say because it's one mermaid's personal opinion with a grain of salt. That being said, today I'd like to discuss something with you that's very, very important and which I've spoken about at convention panels and mermaid events, but I've never brought to this channel, so I feel like it's high time that we talked about how to use a monofin and a mermaid tail safely. I also want you to know that nothing I say today, I don't want to blame anybody, I don't want to push anything on you, make anyone feel guilty or feel bad. That is not what this is about today. I want to educate folks so that everyone can get in the water safely and happily and have a lot of fun without a lot of fear. Thankfully, to my knowledge, there has never been a mermaiding related death. And I think part of that is due to the diligence of our mermaiding community. We do our very best throughout the community to educate and inform and keep everybody safe so that people can live their dreams safely and happily. For me and for many in the mermaiding community, it is better to err on the side of caution, always. Personally, this is my personal opinion, I don't feel that little ones under 6 years of age are, regardless of how good they swim, are ready and capable mentally and physically to handle having your legs bound for extended periods of time, especially in the water, especially if there's some kind of emergency like a cramp or a sudden wave.
Help! Help! My leg! My leg!
And no matter how old you are, one of our biggest rules in the mermaiding community is never, 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 never swim alone. Children should never, not for 1 second, be out of the sight of their parents, regardless of how deep the water is, if they are in a monofin and or mermaid tail, never. Adults should never be out of the sight of another adult, a spotter, a friend, a mertender, a lifeguard. Never mermaid alone, never swim alone. Now we're gonna get into where I feel like everybody should start no matter what their age. When you're new to mermaiding, when you're first exploring getting a monofin, getting a mermaid tail, or both at the same time, you start out slow and move up. But especially with kids, you never, never, never want to slap a monofin on, put a tail on, and just dive in the water. First, you gotta make sure that you're a good swimmer. That is number one next to not swimming alone. Never, 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 never swimming alone. You want to make sure that you're a strong swimmer, not just, kind of competent. Oh, I'm good at the dog paddle. No, you want to be a strong, confident swimmer. You can do freestyle, you can do backstroke. You don't have to know all the names of all the things and be super fancy, but you need to be a confident, strong swimmer, and especially good at the dolphin kick, that swimming style where your legs and your body create a fluid motion through the water. You push your chest down and that makes the rest of your body ripple. It's a lot like the butterfly, except instead of the great push above the water, you're doing it all beneath the surface and moving in one fluid motion, because that's the motion that you need for successfully wearing a mermaid tail underwater. After you are confident that you, your child, your friend, whoever is a strong, strong swimmer, next you want to get familiar with your monofin, whether it's a fin fun monofin, a mertailer, big fancy silicone monofin. You always start out familiarizing yourself with your monofin on land. I cannot stress this enough. With finis, they often have safety buckles on the sides or on the back, so that if there's an emergency, you can just click a buckle and pull yourself out of your monofin. With the fin fun, you can often just give a good kick and yank your feet out of the monofin while in the mermaid tail, and then just slip out of the monofin. Every monofin, regardless of type, regardless of foot pockets, regardless of all one piece of rubber like the Mahina, or all one piece of silicone like the Finis Luna or the mertailers, you want to sit and examine them, study them on land, try them on land, wear them sitting on your couch or on the floor, put them on, flap your fins for a bit, like see what it's like to get in and out of them while you're still on land, because the last thing you want to do is to get into a pool, get into a body of water, and not know what to do with this piece of equipment that you've got that's now literally strapped to your body. Next step, monofin swimmer, shallow end of the water. Again, regardless of whether you're a child or an adult, you want to get with your monofin in the water in a shallow area where it is safe and you can get comfortable and see if the propulsion is good for you, if you are strong enough to move your fins. You don't always know how you or your body will react either to the water or to having your feet stuck together. That really is hard for a lot of people. A lot of people, even if intellectually they feel like they're ready to get into the water, they put their monofin on and something happens where when their feet are forced to be together, when their legs are forced together and they can't get out, it triggers a panic mode in them and they and it's of no fault of their own. Some people just, they don't like that feeling, and that is perfectly okay. But you want to know these things ahead of time before you get in the water and possibly endanger yourself by literally getting in over your head. Then it is time for the exciting, enchanting, fabulous mermaid tail. Regardless of whatever brand you've bought, whether it's Finfolk, Mertailer, FinFun, there are so many different makers now, and that's amazing. And they have the ability to use all different kinds of monofins, which is amazing. But you don't want to get, again, you don't want to get that panic moment of, okay, I'm in my monofin, but then when the fabric is up and you can no longer open your knees wide, then it's really real. Like, again, these are just levels of making sure that intellectually and physically you are ready and prepared for a safe and pleasant journey in your new mermaid tail, to have an amazing mermaid experience. You want it to be safe and happy. So you want to familiarize yourself in steps. And if you have a child, even if they are, oh yes, I'm ready, I know I want to do this, you still want to absolutely make sure that your kid goes through these steps and you do it with them. Don't take their word for it. As a parent, you want to make sure that you are there by their side so that you can see and be confident that they are ready in whatever step that they're ready to go on to the next step. So you've got your mermaid tail on. What do you think our next step is? You put your mermaid tail on land. And again, see what it's like. See how your tail fits. Is it loose? Is it too tight? Do you have a full range of motion? Next, once you're done with your tail skin and your monofin on land, it's time for the water. You get your monofin on, you get your tail skin on, and you start in the what? The shallow end. Start in the shallow end. Please don't just dive off of a 6-foot edge of your local pool. Please, heavens to Betsy, please don't. Also, if you're working with a child with their first time in a new mermaid tail or monofin, you want to talk to them about, okay, if this happens, what do you do? If you get kicked, how do you deal with that? If you get a cramp, how do you deal with that? If you need to get out of your tail quickly, how do you deal with that? And if you're working with a child, make them show you. It breaks my heart to hear horror stories about people being afraid of mermaiding. Don't buy the mermaid tails, they're dangerous. It is not the mermaid tails, the monofins, the tail skins in and of themselves that are dangerous. It is venturing into using them carelessly. And there's no reason why you shouldn't go enjoy your dreams and have fun and become a magical mermaid if you are safe and you are happy, because you will be being safe and you will be being thoughtful. And that's important no matter what you do. Whether it's horseback riding, they don't ban horseback riding at places. They don't ban bike riding. You do all of these things safely and thoughtfully and carefully. You're mindful of your bicycle as they're going down the lanes of the street, just like with a mermaid tail. You need to be mindful of how big and how long you are in a mermaid tail. That's something else that it's wonderful to be mindful of. For little ones as well as adults, when you are first experiencing a mermaid tail, whether it's your first mermaid tail or your 14th mermaid tail, you are longer than you are used to being, so you take turns differently, you push off of walls differently, you stand differently. And this will bring us into the next topic in a moment, but those are things some pools have outlawed mermaid tails because people get hit or kicked with the tail, because new users are not mindful when people are around them that they are bigger than they are used to being on land when they have feet instead of fins. They are wider. Often flukes are wider than your feet. You know, human feet are only so wide. Flukes, I mean, my hand is 1 foot. Look how much wider even a small monofin like the fin fun is. So there are things that you need to be mindful of when you're swimming, whether you're a child or an adult, because you have different dimensions. Next thing, never, 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 never stand in a mermaid tail on land, and preferably even in the water. On the pool, that's why Fin Fun has developed these tips, because the tips of the monofin often drag. Some people are silly enough even to stand on their mermaid tails with the tips against the bottom of the pool like this, and then they wonder why their tails are all full of holes. They often drag on the surface of the pool, which pools can frequently be super rough, which will tear up your tail, your tail skin, your monofin, all of it, and they're expensive to replace. But on land, you have your legs bound. Whether you're just wearing the monofin, whether you're just wearing the tail skin, or whether you're wearing the two together, you have no way to catch yourself if you were to trip. You have no way to brace yourself if you were to lose balance. So if you're standing up or you're hopping in your tail and you were to teeter, you don't have a way to catch yourself unless you can magically make your arms grow super long and brace yourself, or unless you have a family member or friend there who can hold you. But you don't even need to do that, because if you're always on your tuchus, then you don't need to worry about falling over, because there's no way you can fall. Which brings the question, so how do you get around? Well, butt scoot Parachuting is a fabulous way of getting to and fro. Barrel rolls, or some people call them haystack rolls, or hay bale rolls, where you roll your whole body from one place to another. You can just inchworm your butt along. You can crab scoot, some people call it. Fin Fun often has suggestions that you put your tail on right next to the edge of the pool, because that way you don't have to stand up or scoot. You are literally right there. So there are fun and easy and safe ways to get to and fro when you're in a mermaid tail. And I have blathered on for way too long, you guys, so I am going to wrap things up. I hope that I have helped cleared up a little of the confusion, a little of the misunderstandings, a little of the fear. Again, we in the mermaid community, we love seeing people transform into mermaids for the first time. It is an incredible and magical and empowering journey. Mermaiding is great for people of just about any age. It can be empowering for all kinds of abilities. It's wonderful exercise. It's great low to no impact exercise. It strengthens the imagination and the mind as well as the body. It's inspiring to the heart and brings you so much joy. And to be part of this community is a magical thing that regardless of gender, size, background, ethnicity, orientation, you should be able to enjoy and explore if you want. And we love seeing people dive into our world wholeheartedly. And we want you to do that safely so that you can have fun and your family can have fun and you can be confident and enjoy this magical new world that you've explored. It's nothing that should be feared. It's something that should be respected. And that's not a bad thing. That's like riding a bike or driving a car or learning how to twirl a baton or any pursuit. You just gotta learn how to do it well and safely, and everybody can have a good time. If you've enjoyed what you've found, please share it with your friends, with your family. If you see articles on Facebook or Twitter or somewhere, oh, mermaid tails are evil, please point them toward this video. Please look up, there are articles on Mer Network that I'm sure would be enlightening and informative. That is it for me. Thank you so much for staying here, listening, and spending your time with me. I really appreciate it. I hope that you have learned something. I hope that you've had a little fun. I know I'm a bit of an odd duck, but hopefully a fun duck, a fun girlfish. If you've liked what you found here, please like, comment, share. All those interactions really help me and my channel by showing YouTube that people enjoy what they find and want to engage with my content. If you want to see more of me, if you want to be notified every time a video from me surfaces, you can hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell right near there. I believe that's somewhere around here. And if you have any questions, I do my best to research all kinds of monofins that are out on the market, all kinds of mermaid tails. I'm definitely not the end-all be-all wise guru of all things mermaid. But if you have any questions for your child, for yourself, for a friend or a family member, I am happy to do whatever I can to answer your questions. You can also find me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I will also leave those links in the information box below. If you know somebody who wants to be a mermaid, who hasn't dove in yet, who hasn't become a mermaid yet, who has been dreaming about their monofin or mermaid tail, maybe send this to them so that they can be informed as to how best to do that safely and happily, so that their journey is a wonderful one. And I'm a hush now. I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. Happy shimmies and waves of love. Steps to successful mermaiding. First monofin on land, first monofin in pool, then tail in pool. If you, oh, it's still there, but I'm gonna try to ignore it. Neener, neener, neener. Neener, neener, neener. Oh. was I gonna say next?